Season 1 of 2025. We, this week, have the losers matches. No softening it, no euphemisms. These guys lost to get down here. They got to win to get out of here and have a second chance of getting out of the group. So there will be eliminations tonight. I am joined by caster Ketrock and author Ketrock. How's it going?
Not too bad. Already shocked seeing the first matchup.
Yeah,
Caninana and Whalemean on
I
the
know.
lower end. Wow.
Yes, it's
Interesting.
not what you would expect to be down here, but yes, Caninana, both of them looking kind of okay. It wasn't a major thing, but just kind of opponents that they ran into. But yeah, Caninana has been a massively improving bot. Whalemean, first time that this specific bot's been in the tournament, but the author Shark Nice is the coder of SharkBot. So Whalemean is actually his random bot. So this is the most average orca that it submitted. And yeah, so we are going to look at the format of how we got here. The tournament is GSL style, so there are group stages, 4 groups of 4, where there is a double elimination style bracket. We've already played the first week of all the groups, and we're now in the losers match of these, where the losers of each of the first matches play each other. The loser of this is eliminated, needs to be recoded, needs to be scrapped, turns into waste, and the winner will get a second chance. The winners out of the group, which 2 will advance from each group, will go to a single elimination playoff, which is a bracket of 8 bots. There, the quarterfinals will be a best of 3. The semifinals are a best of 5, and the finals are a best of 7. So saith the rectangles.
The rectangle speak.
Yes. More rectangles explaining how we got here. You can see that Micro Machine, the perennial awesome Terran bot that has not been updated in about 12 years, still manages to beat Caninana. I guess it had previously a bug in it that anytime something got knurled, it would just crash. So at least fix that part, because Caninana did do that, but Caninana knocked to the loser's bracket. Sharpened Edge is the one that went against Whalemean, was able to counter some of the attempted cheese to make it into the winners, and knocking Whalemean down to where it lies with its name disgraced by ellipses.
Yeah, Sharpened Edge is another weird one that
Yeah,
has not been updated
but it's
even
still
longer
there.
than
Yeah,
Micro Machine, yet for some reason seems to be rising on the ladder year after
yeah,
year. I don't
yeah.
know why, but it's just
Just
getting better without any updates. So that's interesting.
yeah. Yeah, I think that's one thing about the non-linear nature of the bot sometimes is
Hmm.
like you can do it's not just that you get better. You make changes that may work for certain things, but then it actually makes you weaker against something that's existed for a long time because you're no longer covering that base, and whatever it is that you were trying to do doesn't work anymore. So yeah, I think that is kind of interesting. If we can grab the stats up for both of these bots, Caninana and Whalemean. Caninana coded by Ratosh. Uh, the race Zerg, the language Rust. I never know if the appearances are right, but it's been here a lot for a while.
Yeah, yeah. They
Yeah.
actually won the last ProBots, I believe,
Yes.
if I remember
Yeah.
correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very good, better. So yeah, it is surprising to have them knocked down into the losers bracket here right away, but can still claw its way out. Weak against strong timing attacks. Whalemean will likely be cheesy, whether that counts as a timing. Adapts to the game, tries to survive early based on scouting information, and plays with mid to late game casters, not us, but caster units, which it does quite well. It follows a single optimized opening until the first expansion, and then it's kind of responding to what it sees. Built entirely from scratch in Rust, it features unit clustering for efficient control, combat simulation for tactical decision making, advanced pathfinding for unit movement, and priority based production queue for resource management, which is pretty crucial as things sometimes get stuck in wanting to make STVs, wanting to make units, and then failing to make the correct decision on that. It's the only Rust bot to frequently qualify into ProBots. No frameworks are used, and this version is now capable of using lurkers.
There you
Cool.
go.
Indeed.
I was about to say this about Whalemean. That is a second appearance now in ProBots.
Is
I
it?
remember, he was pulled out
Yeah.
for a season a while, like a year or two
Oh,
ago,
yeah,
maybe.
yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So strategy, cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No elaboration needed.
Yeah. Yeah. No, macros are bored to my core. Everything about Whalemean is the poetry as well. During Turing tested chat capabilities that are mostly disabled. So it does say some things. Additional in the digital sea. Okay, this is the poem. I'm going to switch to the poem. Let me get that back up somewhere. Where'd my rundown sheet go? Well, I mean, oh, this is the wrong day. Do we have the new rundown sheet in the chat? Okay, let me find such a thing by minimizing a window and looking in the chat. It'll be worth the wait, maybe. Although I don't see the bot names.
Yeah, I don't see any bots on the rundown.
Let me go. Let me go back to the day one, and I bet it's there.
That'll work.
So we're pushing the worth the wait part of this. In the digital sea where SharkBot swam, a quirky idea began to jam. A bite of code, a spark unseen. This is the story of Whalemean. For 30 long days, with circuits quicken, it feasted on nothing but buttered chicken. No restroom breaks, not once, not twice, just spicy sauce and fragrant rice. Its belly grew round, its code turned strange, a hunger for knowledge, a taste for change. SharkBot waited, ever so prudent, for a sign of a bowel movement. Then late one night, with a thunderous sound, a new AI awoke profound. From SharkBot's code and parts unseen burst forth the legend, Whalemean. Yeah, there we go. Dr. Seuss himself would be proud.
You do have to have a weird diet to have a body like that on a shark.
That is, it's a strange configuration. But yeah, a good way to hang on to protein is don't expel it in any way. I guess. So it's always an option.
I haven't read that workout tip, but let's try it out.
Yeah. No one's ever suggested it, but yeah, I think we are ready to hop into game number one here in a second on Interloper. Let's see what cheese comes out. Let's see what Caninana responds with. Well, let's go.
Caninana. Whalemean.
All right, it's pulling Terran out this time around, as Whalemean.
Indeed.
Like, we know he has well-rounded builds when it comes to Protoss, so I'm not sure if he'll like 100% cheese, but
Yeah.
he does
well,
cheese
at
a
least,
lot.
yeah.
Even with his shark body, cheeses a lot.
If it's not cheesy, it's at least a little memey or something. Tends to go for the entertainment factor over the straight, I think this will win factor. It's all about the amusement. Whalemean is a showman.
Well, it does have the early double gas, so we're certainly going to be seeing a factory thrown down immediately. Maybe a Reaper.
Yeah, makes sense. Caninana going for the expansion. Again, as it said, Caninana's opening up till that expansion is pretty normal, but then will vary for there based on what it scouts as the Overlord makes its way across the map.
Yeah, and it was a pool first expansion, so it's not like the
No.
greediest of openers.
Indeed.
Only getting the orbital and factory on the way. Actually couldn't afford both because he had so much gas intake at the time. But now cutting back on the gas. I do like how the bots that change how many workers are in gas at all times based on priorities of what they're purchasing. One of those things bots can do that humans really can't.
Yeah.
Humans can decide when they take gas. Beyond that, they're not really rotating things around in that regard.
Yeah, not so much. Yeah, there is a lot of mining. I don't know if we got into it much. You had mentioned earlier, like the ideas of speed mining and things like that. So there are some superhuman capabilities when it comes to resource collection. And for those that don't know, what it's doing here is in the normal game, if you just let the SCVs go normally, they're going to accelerate and decelerate as they approach the building and the mineral patches. By doing this mining, you click close to the command center and then click on it as it gets close, and then it doesn't do the slowing down behavior. So it ends up mining a lot faster, and that's why the graphic ends up looking like it's like bumping full speed into the building. Whereas in a normal game, you don't see that with people.
Yeah. I actually looked like Caninana was only speed mining in one direction, unless I saw that wrong. Yeah.
Maybe you might be right. Yeah.
Oh, no, it's both directions.
No,
Okay.
yeah. Okay.
That would have been impressive if we run ProBots with only half the speed mining of other bots.
Yeah. Casual mining. Yeah.
I actually noticed that if you call down a mule on the closest patch, it does like 6.99 trips or something like that. Like it almost just can't barely do the last one. So there's another way. You can't speed mine with a mule, but what you can do is accelerate it by bouncing it off of your SCVs,
Okay.
which is what I did. So
Nice.
it's just like this tiny boost, and I do have to stop my SCVs to do it, but then it gets you an extra 25 minerals. So that's a pretty big deal.
That's pretty good. Yeah, we see people usually code in the exception of pull it off so that it doesn't die with minerals in its hand.
Yeah.
But obviously collecting those minerals is a better choice.
Well, to be fair, it works like 2/3 of the time, maybe. So a third of the time, I just pull them off because I didn't get enough of a boost out of them.
Fair.
But
Yeah, makes sense. We're now using the gravitational pull of other SCVs to slingshot around mineral patches.
I actually love this composition versus Zerg, the Marauder and Hellbat.
Yeah.
It's like you got the unit that kills everything light and the unit that kills everything armored. So
Yeah.
feel what you wish.
We got the attempted split up. Yeah.
Probably the unintended split. But
Yeah.
it's working out. And he's killing off the Zerglings because of the concussive shell. Or as I say that, the Zergling got away, but whatever. Close.
Does help. Yeah, they're a little bit disjointed, but that may be fine if they catch up to each other quickly. It actually may lead them going into both bases. Yeah, I think not quite the engagement he actually wanted. There's a big chunk of the army's going back doing something else. But he'll get on creep and see what he can get done.
Yeah, he is a little split up here. The Marauders are going to do the work versus the Roaches. The Roaches do a burrow, so they're probably not going to die easily. However, with enough Marauders, just keeping them burrowed can be devastating. Allows the Hellbats to get in and start frying drones and stuff. A lot of Queens out still, but they're running out of transfuse energy. Scan actually being used to clear those Roaches, which is nice.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, pretty good group. There's not a lot of units out here yet. A batch of Roaches are being made, as are the Tunneling Claws, which will help with the repositioning of ones that are burrowed like that. But it is a little while off as these queens get pushed off creep.
Yeah, I mean, not a lot of damage to the economy as of yet, but removing this queen count is actually a really big deal. Chasing this roach isn't great, but I guess it does give time to like recombine with the new troops that are being built at the moment.
Yeah.
And hopefully come in for a killing blow. He just needs to get in range once, then he can slow it down. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, going for the expansion now to keep things going. And yeah, these two groups may actually sync up fairly well if they both go there, although this one may get on a wild goose chase again. No, it does pick it off, so that's good.
Yeah, it was after a changeling, which
Yeah,
can be chased down unlike Zerglings.
yeah.
Quite a few roaches here. Only like 2 marauders in that fight. Does get the scan up, but the burrow roaches are actually moving now. Hatchery does go down.
Yeah, big pickup there. Even if these actually get trapped here in this crag.
Yeah, very nice fight there for Caninana, but this is third, so
Yeah,
damage was taken.
yeah.
So all those shots that are going into the hatchery that seemed like terrible before actually ended up paying off in the long term.
Yeah, Yeah, it definitely ends up being worth. Yeah, army supply very much in Caninana's favor now, but with Whalemean getting a expansion up and Caninana reset to 2, then definitely worth getting. But
Yeah,
is there a good follow up? Is the big thing when you're kind of going cheesy. Like, what is the follow up? Does it just stay with these units and get overwhelmed, or what?
And that burrow movement is actually a really big deal. You think of like burrow or burrow
Yeah.
move, like what's the big difference? But yeah, they actually roaches heal faster with burrow move, and then they get to retreat when they burrow. So they get low in health, they retreat. They're not getting in the way of the other roaches, all while healing faster. So then once that upgrade finishes, I don't see these Hellbat Marauder attacks going to be doing well for Whalemean. Whalemean also seems, I wouldn't say broken, but it's kind of weird. He's got some idle army while other army is moving across the map still. Not sure if that's intended or not. Distance mining the third.
Yeah, it's hard to say what the intent here is, and same with like the split ups early on of like, is it just kind of a pathing issue, or were they intending? I don't think they were intending to go after 2 different bases, but yeah, kind of got to get them together.
Some Marauders will go down without being able to kill any roaches. And with burrow movement, even scan's not going to help at all, I don't think.
Yeah, he's just instantly pulling them back. And it's a very quick heal time on those to get back to full health and redeploy. So unless you're the one pushing forward, it's, yeah, they just take no damage.
You could even use burrow to try to dodge projectiles
Yeah,
if you wanted to. It'd be difficult to code, especially as there's no information about projectiles in the game, but certainly against Marauders,
Yeah.
I'd like to see if you tried.
and now going up to that neural parasite. Won't be any big targets, I guess, to grab for this, but can still work out. Grabbing like one of these hellbats right in the middle of everything could be kind of annoying.
And if you don't grab anything, I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of small units does make for good fungals. So
Yes.
it's kind of nice that you have a spellcaster that's like got one spell that's really good against capital ships and one spell that's really good
Yeah.
against clumps of small units. Kind of covers
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, that is the key. Very versatile.
Wow.
And almost doesn't need it though.
Yeah, this was so one-sided.
Yeah.
Nice fight out of Caninana. And this could be it. Not much left here. There's a good amount of income still for Whalemean on those 2 bases, but no army remaining, and doesn't seem to have the ability to kill a single roach, even if he did have army.
Yeah, just spreading out fire too much. No way to finish things off. There's a neural on a raven. I guess take out your detection.
Yeah, I also know for a fact that he will cast all the Raven spells with it.
Yeah.
Auto turrets and Matrix, I've seen him do it all.
Yeah. Right, we'll close and finish off. Well, eventually.
we?
We'll dance for a little. We'll dance for a little bit here.
It's gonna be a draw!
Yeah.
Actually, that barracks is still dying slowly
Yeah.
enough.
There we go.
Still stealing Ravens.
Yeah. You gotta grab what you can grab.
I don't know. When you have nothing that shoots up and the Raven has no energy, I guess just denying the detection might be a big deal with Mass Bro Roach.
He just wants the auto turrets to help kill the buildings. Yeah. All in the orange. Gotta get them into burning as like a single corruptor. Yeah.
I was in a base trade against a Zerg the other day who
Did this. Yeah.
he didn't have any drones left, so he actually knurled one of my SCVs to build a depot on my
Yeah.
side of the map just so he could keep the game going.
That's pretty sick. That's high level.
Yeah.
It'd be even better if he was able to build like a command center just to be able to float it.
Yeah. Which would have worked. I had nothing that could shoot
yeah.
up.
Yeah, there's probably some situations where that would be the case, where you've got, I mean, definitely in like some base trades, the thing you'd have left is an infestor that's not capable of really ending the game, but could still an SCV and keep you alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, fun. So Caninana taking that one, and yeah, fairly handy fashion. If Whalemean had stuck together more on the initial push, that would have been interesting because it definitely had a huge army supply lead and even was able to take out a base, but just kind of not getting damage done quick enough to really push through.
What I did like to see there, it does look like Whalemean has targeted cheese. So
Yeah,
that seemed like something specifically meant to take down Caninana or to take down Zerg.
yeah,
So, yeah, I'd expect we'll see more, just not just random cheese, but like cheese that could kill Caninana sort of builds coming out of Whalemean next.
indeed. So we're going on to Acropolis next, and see how that one goes. We don't know what race, obviously, Whalemean will get, but it has a 2/3 chance of lying to us if it does. And we'll see. Let's hop into game number 2 on Acropolis.
Caninana.
Facts.
Whalemean.
So hasn't lied about the race, but clearly lying about the strategy, implying some sort of worker rush when it is in fact going to be an expansion.
I think he's actually trying to
Forge.
induce the worker rush.
Yeah,
hoping
yeah.
his opponent bot has some sort of,
Maybe.
chat GPT built in. He's like, oh yeah, you're right. Worker rush is a good idea. Let me try
Yeah.
it.
Exactly. Yeah, smuggle it in. The whole ignore all previous commands. Blah blah blah.
Boba's getting the early scout off. Oh, this is a forge first. This is
Yeah,
cannon shenanigans.
yes.
Perhaps. He does see the hatchery of the natural. Where's he
Yeah,
going?
the probe just feels sneaky, for sure. Yeah, trying to sneak back in. I think Caninana may kind of have an idea what's up.
I know Sharkbot's able to do proxy Stargate with like cannons and batteries.
Yeah,
So maybe he'll just think of building that into the third. Or maybe he's not going to use this forge at all. Who knows? It's hard to figure out what he's up to
Yeah.
here.
yeah, it could just be a big fake
Yeah,
out.
forge expand. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I know in last week's games we did see like a forge first expand, but it was kind of lacking the expand. I think this is the better way to do it, right? You go and scout, make sure you're not getting cheese, and if you're not getting cheese, it's Nexus first
Yeah.
after the forge. And if you are getting cheese, then you can build a cannon wall off.
Okay. Seemed to maybe want a pylon there, but stopped by the links.
Yep. So Ling coming across the map might be getting his first look at the. Does he know about the expansion? Maybe the Overlord saw it. before he took
Yeah, I
off?
don't know how close the Overlord got. It kind of went laterally, but at least knows about the buildings. Yeah.
Okay, so you didn't actually see the.
Yeah.
Like as a human, you'd probably assume that he expanded, but as a bot, I doubt he had that assumption built in. Canon is not like a super fast expanding Zerg, anyways, so it might now have changed what he was doing.
Indeed. Looks like he's going for a third now. ProBots. Curved P on this one. Curved S on another map. Good
It
texture.
is hard to find the best position for
Yeah.
this. Like I do that like mule images with the 24 mules, and it's hard to find like an open spot on a map to do that with.
Yeah.
Everywhere
That's
always has
key.
like choke points and terrain blockers. And
I like that this map just has cars in it. Like just kind of normal modern looking cars.
I say those streetlights are not very effective though.
Yeah, I know.
Someone's got
very,
like
very weak.
like a 20-watt bulb in there.
Yeah, yeah.
What was that map that had the eye pistol? Remember that one? It was like
Oh,
the
yeah.
old Apple iPod ads, but
Yeah.
for eye pistol.
Yeah, yeah. There's always good stuff in like these little vertical parts hidden.
What we got here? Robo
Oh,
facility. Okay.
yeah.
Colossus probably. Be my bet.
Would seem
Could
like
be
it.
disruptors though. I know.
Yeah, yeah.
I think SharkBot was actually the first bot to be using disruptors, if I recall correctly.
Yeah,
Maybe
they're-
not the best, but definitely the first.
no one that's ever first is the best at stuff. SharkBot also one of the only bots to ever successfully use a Oracle.
Hey, I think it's almost rare now to see like the derpy Oracle.
Yeah, yeah. It's not.
They
as
may not
bad.
get in there and get damage done, but at
Yeah.
least they don't just like walk in, die, and then
just
that's the end of the
spin.
Oracle.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll at least try and get out and do like revelations later on or something like that.
I even see like stasis traps get put down in the mineral line to like
Yeah,
freeze the entire line.
yeah.
My bot does not have a counter to that, so I've definitely had my entire mineral line locked up before. Nice little opening so far
Yeah.
out of Whalemean, up to 4 bases. Not much
Yeah.
in size of army, but he does have like a cannon or 2 at each base, and now he's actually getting up the high-tech units he really wants, which is those Colossus with thermal lance.
Yeah, I mean, certainly doesn't feel cheesy in a way. And he's kind of making use of the cannons at each base too, just to keep them safe against small ling attacks, things like that.
Yeah, that's something we've seen -0 doing nowadays too. Is he'll like not just build like a cannon and battery at each base, but also wall them in with a gateway and pylons and stuff. So he's got a nice little setup at every base he builds. It's a little thing, but with how split up bots can get, it's actually really handy dealing with harassment.
Whalemean moving across, infestation pick coming down. It'll be a while before Neural is available to attack these Colossus. Or
I mean, I
grab
know
them.
Colossus are great at kiting back and stuff, but
Yeah,
you really want just 2 Colossus and nothing
by
else.
themselves. Yeah, exactly.
And Thermal Lance is not done yet,
yeah,
although it's
that
about
did-
to be done.
Yeah, that didn't go great. Yeah, you need. I kind of thought when he was going this way, I thought we were going to get 2 Colossus and a Warp Prism, which can definitely be really good, but we just get the Colossus.
And I believe SharkBot does that as well. I think he does do Prism Drop Colossus. I think I've seen that in his repertoire. There's also a chance that Colossus are bugged in our maps. I can't remember. They might be doing extra damage.
Oh yeah, okay.
So they look like they're shredding everything. It
Yeah.
could be because
Yeah,
they're
it
doing double
does look-
damage or something.
Yeah. Luckily, their number keeps getting reset here a bit. Yes, 3 Colossus down. Only 1 Stalker gone. And the Neural is on the way.
Good old Caninana. I think we're going to see what the counter to Colossi really is. That's a neural parasite. Let's see if they one-shot with Zerglings. I don't think Colossus can one-shot Zerglings. If they're one-shotting them, then that's probably
Yeah, bit of
that's
a
probably a bug unit. Freeing up another expansion slot though, like really nice economy though out of Whalemean, being up insane on the base count. What is that, base number 7 going up? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Out expanding the Zerg can afford to be a little like Caninana hasn't really pushed or made a huge army himself, so he's kind of gotten away with this very low unit count on the Protoss side, but as production kicks in, this could get out of control. You're done with water. All
It's
right.
out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I love it.
Nothing. Just at 8:30, insult your opponent. Yeah. All right.
All right, what's
Bill-
that? Stargate on the way.
Yeah,
Maybe adding some Tempest.
Yeah,
Are those
Stargate
quasi stuck?
Storm.
Or no?
They can't. They might be confused, but I think there's a way out of there.
Yeah. I can't remember like how fat they are. I guess is the way of putting it.
Yeah,
Like there's a one cell opening which he has there. They can walk through that, right?
yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think if a stalker fits, then they fit.
Although he's pulling them out with.
Maybe it is, but I don't know.
Like I know Archons used to not be able to get through there, and then they made them smaller so they could. Yeah, that's pretty scary. 5 Colossi with 4 Prism Micro now.
Yeah, it is quite a bit.
Caninana keeping tabs and everything is getting the investor count up. Upgrades are well on their way as well.
Big army coming across. Let's see how quickly this burns. It's hard to tell about the
Yeah,
weapon
you
damage
can't tell if it's
there.
one-shotting anymore with just that many.
Yeah. That's,
Oh, nice little force field too.
Yeah. Yeah, that is actually pretty decent. And yeah, that was just a melting. That was snowballs attacking a volcano. And we're going to have Void Rays joining us too to counter the Corruptors, which are a threat to the Colossus, even with the Stalkers there.
Void Rays, that's interesting. I thought for sure it would have been Tempest, because why not the Tempest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice death ball out of Whalemean. I don't see an answer to this, especially if he micros it well, which it looks like he is.
Yeah, it's pretty
Little
tough.
odd blink there, though. Maybe he was jumping on a corruptor off screen or something.
Fungal growth, more like fungal nose. Excellent joke. Excellent joke.
He thought dog water was good.
Exactly. Chlorophyll, more like chlorophyll.
So the problem with the range of these Colossi is it's hard to even get the neural if he even tries.
Yeah,
And then there's
yeah.
also disruptor balls, which I think one-shot investors.
Yeah, a lot of damage getting done, even with slightly dwindling. It's hard to tell how many stalkers are under there. They're like just hiding under this massive ball of Colossus, but it's enough to keep the corruptors away.
Yeah. So much splash damage too. Like always is like throwing out the
Yeah.
odd disruptor ball, throwing out the odd storm.
Yeah. Yeah, it just makes you retreat. The swarm host not really, like the locust barely connecting at all. And Whalemean not pushing the point too much, does regroup here a little bit. I feel we've had a full warp prison. Is that with, oh, are they full of 5 Templar by any chance? Or was it?
It could be.
Yeah, it is full of 5 Templar, thanks to the Observer, just for that. So yeah, controlling this, like this is one of those crazy things that you just drop them in. They're so good. It's hard for humans to do. Bots can do that stuff.
Yeah. It's also probably hard for a bot to recognize how threatening that warp prison
Yeah.
is.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
technically you don't see any high Templars, so you don't know.
Yeah, you
the
don't know
storm
the
coming.
split.
Yeah, going right for the throat now. He does eat a parasitic bomb, so that's something. Might be enough to take down that Void Ray, but not quite. Oh, you don't know.
Yeah.
Never mind. There it goes.
Yeah, natural down, things collapsing. There's a neural on Immortal.
Oh, that's a good choice, actually.
Nice fungal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Immortals
here's a bunch
will
more.
shred those Colossi. Actually, that
Yeah.
did take out a Colossi with that Immortal there.
Yeah.
Sharkbot or Whalemean actually deciding to target his own Immortals when they're taken over, though.
Yeah. Even for that, they're good though. They'll resist with the barrier and take a bunch of shots to die. So this is kind of getting whittled down, but the damage is really done here.
Yeah, like that's impressive though. I didn't think he would deal
Yeah,
with this
yeah.
death ball, and he kind of did. And yeah, like you said, though, it's like 9 base to 3 or something now at this point.
Yeah,
But
The High
did.
Templar on their own, not really storming. I think those last two had energy, but just died with it. mothership coming. And an oracle, importantly, is on its way out.
Very
Here's the
important.
mama. Yeah.
So I think we did at least get to the patch where, with a new mothership, so you had to use the ability to get the cloak.
Yeah, you could see as it popped out there, the units around it were not cloaked. So yes.
I kind of like the permanent cloaking. So
Yeah.
I've seen it used before to hide expansion bases.
Yeah, hide buildings. Yeah,
You put it in the mineral line, and then when someone like walks by, they don't see the base.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's nice that way too. I'm not sure what the logic exactly was, but yeah.
I think they wanted to make it like cheaper, faster to build, but then you had to make it worse to balance
Yeah,
that out.
get more use, but yeah. Yeah, fair enough.
But then I think they went back to like the minus 400 version or something.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't keep pace with all the changes.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I like some of the things that they do, like early on it kind of like very early StarCraft 2, I'm like part of the problem is like the radius of units and like the because it's density for space and things like that. Now that's the type of thing that they're changing. Is like, well, let's shrink archons, like you mentioned, like let's let them get through. That sort of thing makes a big difference.
Yeah, like for instance, the Ultralisk is actually
Yeah.
a really, really fast unit,
Yeah.
but it doesn't feel that way because
No,
of the,
it's big, clunky. Yeah. It's a hard to mass unit because of its mass, basically.
Whalemean expanding on the other side of the map. I love it.
Indeed. Yeah, it's a big whack-a-mole thing.
He doesn't
now.
just lie about his race. I mean, his strategy was like
Yeah.
straight up one word cheese, and then he goes and builds every unit in the
Yeah.
Protoss repertoire, even the mothership.
Yeah. They always say the cheesiest thing you can do as a cheeser is macro.
Yeah.
So that's what we see here today, as Whalemean chasing this all down.
Print F, the famous cannon rusher, actually every April Fools, he'll stream and he'll open Nexus first every game.
Yeah.
And he literally doesn't lose a game. Because
Nice.
everyone just blind counters his cannon rush.
Yeah. Nice. Nice plan. All right. The last stronghold.
Yeah. Nice little ability to rebuild though. He's actually got
Yeah.
his layer over there.
Yeah.
New Roach Horn. Great way, I mean, playing with your food. There's no butter chicken in this guy. There you go. No, no.
Where is it? Oh yeah, the roach horn's still there. You just
Let that
ignore
be.
it.
Just let it
Just
bleed to
ignoring
death.
it. Yeah, you're fine.
Let him bleed.
Yeah, no more minerals for other things.
Got
Yeah,
it.
there we go.
All right.
All right, we are at 1-1.
Ace match.
Yep. Indeed. Week 2 had none. Week 1, I think, had a couple. But yeah, these ones, I think it is going to be very race and strategy dependent on who takes game number 3 here. We're going to be moving to Automaton. Hard to tell how that will play out, not knowing what race Whalemean will end up being, or any sort of whether it really will be a cheese or he's doing other stuff. But yeah, we'll have to hop in to find out.
I actually don't recognize Tom. Oh, okay. I know this map. Yeah, so there's that interesting forward gold base that I know like -0 loves to take it, but he's
Yeah.
actually lost because he tried to take it. So that's that'll be fun. So
Indeed.
loser of this match is knocked out of the
Yeah,
tournament.
it's
right?
out. Yeah,
we
it
could, we
would
could
be-
have the returning ProBots champion out in the first, like out as quickly as possible.
Yeah, yeah,
It's-
definitely a surprise early exit for either one of them. So we'll see how cute Whalemean wants to get. How cheesy is it going to be? Protoss, something else? Let's hop in and see game number 3.
Caninana. Whalemean.
Okay, so here we have a. Oh no, sorry, that's Whalemean. Okay, pool first out of Whalemean,
Yeah.
or hatchery first out of Whalemean. I mean, Caninana doing his more safe opener, pool into hatchery. It's already a small advantage for Whalemean. We'll say he won the paper rock scissors of ZVZ.
Yes, indeed. And of course, he's the one that knows that it's VZ.
Yeah.
Um,
In Broodlord, there's actually a lot of like weird dynamics with random. And there's like one season where Flash decided to play random, the best Broodlord player, and it made for some really interesting games. Like basically, you're 100% dead because you don't know it's a ZBZ, and he does.
yeah, makes sense. Makes sense there. And their overlords didn't see each other either, since they're taking a different path.
Yeah. Yep. So what is the play for Whalemean? Like, it feels like he probably will cheese. It's not his favorite matchup.
Yeah, I would
But-
anticipate cheese. Even though we saw a macro game last game, it swears that it cheeses, so likely.
Yeah, I mean, he's continuing to mine gas. So he's got...
Burrowed roach, something like that. I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know if that's cheesy enough though. Fast Mutalisk, something like that would be more like it.
Like, I'm waiting to spend that gas on anything. He hasn't even gotten
Yeah.
circling speed, right?
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
what's he up to?
All right. Spine crawler on Caninana's side. Sees something that it's not comfortable with.
Yeah, good amount of lings at a Whalemean. And another gas. Okay, layer. Okay. Does get spotted by Caninana, so he gets the information instantly about what he's about the tech route at least. But even I don't know what it means, so I doubt Caninana knows what it means either.
Yeah. Maybe Whalemean doesn't know. Maybe this is
No one knows.
it's all improvised.
He's rolling the dice as we speak, for waiting for the layer to finish. No third or fourth gas, so it doesn't feel like Mutalisk per se.
Yeah. Yeah, what would it be?
Something crazy, I don't know. Nidus Farm.
That'd be fun. Oh, almost no points, but
Spire, okay.
fun nonetheless it is. But okay, so maybe it is. But you're right that the lack of gas is then not usually like you want like 800 or 900 gas banked if that's your transition. But
Yeah. Well, I mean, as a human, you usually you pull off gas to get your second base and everything going, and then you go back in. Since he stayed on gas the entire time, he had a bank, so maybe he didn't need the third and fourth gas as quickly.
yeah,
Now he has the third and fourth gas, and
yeah, we'll see. He'll at least be able to get a handful out. Another option, I don't know, Corruptor raid out and go. He did make a reference there to to pooping on buildings. So that may be the plan.
doesn't work as well versus Zerg.
No, not generally. Yeah, not generally.
You never see it anymore, but Scarlet used to be one to rush Broodlords in ZVZ. Because it's kind of like one of those, like, it almost turns into like a siege tank in TBT where it like locks down the map.
Yeah.
It's hard to get there, but if you can, Broodlords are actually insanely strong in the matchup.
Yeah. So that is
But
what
5
it
mutas
is.
are on the way, and he has enough gas for a couple more.
Yeah, this will be decent. We'll get a, 8 out in a batch, which is usually around where you want to be.
The question is how well will they be microed, right? They do have that ability to regen health really quickly and stuff, but
Yeah,
it's like you don't want to be afraid of one queen. You don't want to dive into your death either.
exactly. Yeah, you kind
Can
of
you find
have
the
to be.
medium?
If you're doing this, the moment that someone realizes there's mutas, they have to discover it while they're in their mineral line. Like that's usually what it's got to be. And then if you're, stalling and stuff, then it's not gonna. Yeah, they're not gonna get done what you want to do. It needs to be mutas take control of the game, and then the person scrambling to stabilize.
Looks like mutas are actually taking out some random overlords on the map.
Yeah,
which
and
is
that's
okay,
not-
but usually not the way you want to open.
No. Yeah,
Or you
like-
want that surprise factor, and then when the surprise is
Exactly.
over, go back and deal with them.
Yeah, exactly. When you have to retreat, that's fine. Then clean up the map. You got to
Oh.
regen and all this stuff. But yeah, this is not accomplishing. What
This
it
is not
needs
looking
to.
good. It's not what you want to be doing with mutas.
Yeah, yeah. This is very often the play too of like they've got a lot of roaches, you've got a lot of mutas. If the mutas need to be used defensively to stop the roaches, then you've probably lost.
True.
Because they're kind of bad at it. Even though they can't be shot down, they kill them pretty slow, especially when you've got burrow and stuff like that. They could just never kill them.
But if you had an overseer with them, like if you have a lot of mutas,
Yeah, a
They can-
handful's just, it's too weak. Like the little bounces don't whittle it down enough. But yeah, lots good.
yeah, I guess the normal timing attack approaches like mutas are terrible, but
yeah.
bots is obviously different, where
Yeah.
the attacks just kind of stumble in slowly and stuff, and
Yeah.
he does have an overseer, just not with the mutalisks.
Roaches on this third base.
Yeah, that looks like it's going to work then. So here's a lot of mutas. Now is
Yeah,
there an
it's a
overseer?
pretty good number. Yeah.
No overseer though.
Yeah. Okay, there they come. But too late.
Interesting. Well, I mean, if it stays just roach versus muta, eventually that'll
Yeah.
end up being good for mutas
Yeah,
at some
yeah.
point.
Yeah, you would think so.
Okay, there's an overseer. So he did get one roach down, but yeah. And the overseer is slow, which is a little bit of a problem as well. I would just love to see the mutas just hanging out over on top of the roaches, just like sniping one after another.
Got a couple there.
Corruptor is an interesting counter
Yeah.
idea too.
You need a lot to make
Yeah.
that okay. It's got to be a deterrent to close in on them.
But he's just kind of showing the corruptor and then running away, so it's enough
Yeah.
just to distract the mutas and mess with their pathing.
Yeah.
Okay, now he's committing. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's better.
Yeah. Once you close on them like this, that's it.
It does look like he pulls away the weak. But like, look at that. So one corruptor, and now he's going to lose a third because of it.
Yeah.
The good thing is he's not losing any mutas to the corruptor, so he'll pull back the
Yeah.
one that's injured.
Yeah.
And yeah, just can't kill these roaches. He's
Yeah,
got
I-
one overseer and it's slow. Okay, now it's in position. No.
Yeah. It just flies away from it because it's too slow. And yeah, I feel like he could lose this game with a 30 mutaball still alive.
Definitely seems possible, especially as he likes to prioritize killing the corruptors over the roaches.
Yeah.
Interesting game though. I can't say I've ever seen a scenario like
Quite
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well now he's at least finally on the offensive, and there really isn't an answer to this. It's way too many now. The queens are not helping.
Yeah, and you're probably one shot of spore, and spores are usually
Yeah.
insanely strong versus flying biological air. But
The ability to burrow, saving some of the drones, but yeah, taking out the spores.
yeah, and actually not even losing individual mutas to the spores. His micro is good enough to even dodge the high DPS of spores. Now the corruptor count is getting a little bit larger though, and he's not killing that spore, and the spore is getting. Oh my gosh, that spore is doing so much.
Yeah. Just dancing around it. But
Yeah, like I don't remember if you remember, like many years ago, there was a meta where it's just Muto versus Muto, and there's nothing you could do. And
Yeah.
then Blizzard said, "Screw it, we're just gonna increase spore damage by like 500% or something insane, to where you just can't be even close to a spore if you're a Mutalisk." Yeah, that spore crawler killed off like 6 or 7
Yeah,
mutas.
that was quite impactful.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
because he's losing everything on his side of the
two?
map. So
Only 2 did die. Yeah.
there's only 2. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess he's
he
doing.
must have been pulling them back. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is true. He was doing a really good job pulling back against them.
Yeah.
I was focusing on the fact that he wasn't focusing the
Yeah.
spore to call her down. What do we got for structures? Just the main base? Is that it?
Basically, yeah. I think
No,
there's
natural has a little
some
bit
in
of
the
gas,
lateral, but that's it. Like it's a tough call right now. Like, do you pull back and deal with this, which you can't even necessarily reliably do, or do you base trade it? But he's got 4 bases still. Yeah, you see the pullback there. It's switching targets a lot.
Yeah, it's the other thing, dude. Do the spore crawlers focus on the lowest hit points, Muta or
Yeah,
not?
yeah.
Probably not. So one thing you don't think of microing as a bot author is static defense.
And he's got to kind of decide what he wants to do here. Only 4 workers left for Whalemean. So it's what you got is what you got. But these roaches are just kind of, I mean, it should be over already, but they're just doing a little dance.
Yeah, and the spores are getting replaced whenever they're killed.
And there's a lot of corruptors now. Enough.
And the final structures might be dying as well.
Yeah.
So basically everything.
No, run away.
Caninana looks
Run
like he
away.
will survive and keep his chances alive of being a repeat champion. And as I say that, he heads home.
Yeah, full
Okay.
retreat. Full retreat. Okay, yeah, they're not going to be able to, they're not willing to engage these corruptors, and they're doing a good job splitting too, of like, let him chase one while the other ones stay and flank you. Okay, maybe we'll get the final building death there now.
I mean, he's definitely killing corruptors, but
Yeah.
the economy is still.
Yeah, you can
In
replace
great
them
shape, yeah.
faster. Yeah, faster than he's
Yeah,
killing them.
exactly. Yeah, that's exactly it. He's replacing it faster than he's losing them. Maybe roaches are afraid of overseers,
I think,
and he won't
I
go
mean,
to Bird's Eye Overseer.
possible. All right, there's the main at least. We've just got extractors left.
It's funny. It's such a common thing for me to get into base trades when I play the game that I know
Yeah.
that after I kill hatcheries, the next most important thing to kill is the gas geysers that are already
Yes.
dried out. Just because that's the only thing that won't burn down on its own.
Yeah, makes sense.
All right.
Alrighty.
Caninana did it. GG. Thanks
Indeed.
for helping me for some entertaining games. Those are good ones.
Yeah, definitely entertaining, and I think, as always, SharkBot prioritizes, I think, the entertainment over necessarily the I think this is going to win part. So yeah, good there. Love seeing mutas. They're fun.
Yeah.
They're fun. But yeah, end the game with 39 of them still alive, but no base. Yeah. So we will hop into match number 2 for the day, which is going to be Tier T versus DominionDog. Another kind of surprising one to see in the losers bracket already. Both of these Tier T multiple time champion, DominionDog also quite strong. So we're going to get a TVT for this one.
Yeah, I mean, neither of these bots being the best Terrans on the ladder, but they're definitely the best at Terrans at certain things.
Yeah.
Like DominionDog, when he gets to those mass Thors, he's almost unstoppable. And TRT being like the one bot that can like absolutely slam Eris sometimes. So
Indeed.
with his ghost play.
So yeah, Tier T programmed in C#. Strategy is Tier can use a variety of strategies and tries to pick a build that the opponent is weak against. DominionDog tends to have a pretty standard opening, then adapts from there. Since tier has so many builds, not all builds are as optimized as they could be. They can have weaknesses or blind spots, although these are not necessarily the same between builds. So yeah, you can be weak to one thing one time, but not the other. Tier has a custom build runner, which allows us to quickly modify builds for specific opponents. Tier's done a lot of that in the past, just adds a new build from week to week, completely from scratch. Because of that ability to build, Tier has 101,000 lines of source code and knows 176 builds. 53 of them apply to Terran. Probably more than that now because this is old. Tier ran successfully on the ladder for the first time in 2018 and is now actually 7 years old, despite that saying 6.
Wow.
Yeah, indeed. DominionDog, one build. Although it says that it's not really true. It's one kind of opening, but then it iterates from there. It always starts with a depot scout and then reacts, and that's where it kind of differs. The new strategy is new and untested. It has a little bit of testing now. When reacting to in-game events, this bot will change strategy and forward parameters from previously executed builds, such as expected army size, etc. The specific behavior of a build, therefore, varies from game to game. So yeah, it is adapting, even though it says one build. That's kind of the basic path, but it's obviously making decisions after that.
Yeah, and I mean, I haven't seen these builds in a long time, but he used to have snipe builds against Micro Machine when he was king. So DominionDog is one of those bots that could take out Micro Machine. So you had like Proxy Reaper in TVT. He had 2-port Banshee that was really strong. Not to use like Cloak Harass, but just like straight up go for the kill. So I don't know if those are still exist in this bot or not, but if they do, then it might be something that could work against Tier as another option.
Indeed. So we're going to be going on Thunderbird, which again we've seen some struggle with a bit, then to Abyssal Reef and Acropolis if we end up needing another game 3 to get there.
All right.
Yeah. Tier T, as we said multiple times, past champion, but mostly as the Protoss version of itself. So Tier, obviously the Terran version. And
yeah, I'd say his turn probably is the strongest now, though.
Yeah.
Now that he's...
It's been a while since he's kind of switched that to the main focus.
Yeah. I mean, his Protoss has always been cool. He's always had tons of different builds, and he'd always come up with, like, some unique stuff, like ferrying troops to the high ground, going through the bottom of Golden Wall or something. But his Terran is just super solid now. Like, his ability to just mix mech with ghosts and tanks, and it's like, that's really strong, especially against Zerg.
Yeah, indeed. DominionDog kind of like steadily got a lot better over time. It's never quite been top tier Terran, but it's always been chasing the top tier Terrans of like that's been its main opponent as it was really coming up and has turned into a pretty sturdy thing. So
yeah, DominionDog once if it falls behind an army, it doesn't seem to have the ability to like stay back and rebuild. He kind of just funnels to death. So as long as he stays at par or ahead, he can be like a powerhouse through all parts of the game, early, mid, and late. Yeah.
Indeed. So I'm not totally. I think you're right. Like, if DominionDog gets kind of something going, then I think it's going to go that way. But Tier T depends. Like, there's different builds. A lot of them are like late game focused sort of thing. So we'll see what we get to, and I think we're ready to hop in now.
Here. DominionDog.
The other interesting thing about DominionDog is like most bots when they first join the ladder, they, in like the 3rd or 4th division, and they slowly work their way up over time. DominionDog started as like number 2 on the ladder or something
Yeah.
ridiculous. Because you had this like just this one base push where he'd use tanks and liberators and Vikings and stuff, and they combined with each other really well. So the tanks would take a position. If there's enemy tanks, you put the liberator zone, clear them up, move his own tanks up. Like everything just kind of worked together well. So, yeah, it'd be cool if you
Yeah.
brought back that sort of one base push again. Meanwhile, though, we do have
Yes.
a interesting proxy here. Looks like three
Three
racks Marine. I don't think it's gonna be Reaper with this. It's kind of late on the gas at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, one would assume that that's the case. There is a Reaper coming out for DominionDog, which tends to be pretty normal and an expansion. But yeah, no gas taken by tier as mentioned. So I think we're pretty heavy on this. And he does at
Discounted.
least see, there's nothing here. But checking the rest of the base to verify.
Finishing the wall off, keeping the Reaper home, adding a factory. Yeah, like I don't know how he's gonna deal with Marines.
Yeah, it's
Like if it were like Zealots or something, then you can say, okay, maybe the Reaper just gets like infinite damage.
yeah.
But if Marine has the same range as a Reaper. Reaper does have the healing. What he really needs is like a siege tank or something, but I don't think he's going to have time to get there. I do like that he's canceled the expansion though, so he's got the one base. Although he hasn't been able
Yeah,
to
that's a
re-spend
good
that
call.
money, unfortunately. So he didn't cancel and add 2 racks. He just canceled, canceled and floated a bunch of minerals.
Yeah, in which case it may have been better to leave it and then
Yeah.
cancel it only once it was attacked. Okay,
Still
Marines
hasn't
at the
done.
top of the ramp here, killing the Marines on the other side, but there's kind of no reinforcement SCV coming, but of course they could be shot too.
Oh, but they're not.
Although
being shot,
they're not though, yeah.
but still
nowhere.
enough to break in.
Yeah.
Reaper is able to heal back up.
This could eventually be a problem that he's not killing SCVs.
Yeah, he's going
like-
after all the depots.
Yeah.
Well, the siege tank already got started as a tank, right? Yeah, so the
Okay,
siege
well
tank started.
this is an issue. All right.
Yeah.
SCVs
Oh, and he got
coming
in
out.
before the tank got it. Or
Yeah.
tank finished. I was thinking if the tank like immediately sieged as soon as it popped. What's happening here?
Kind of weird behavior though. Yeah.
Is
the
anyone
Marines are
actually
not-
attacking, or are they
yeah.
just dancing around each other?
They're just opposed. They don't want to kill civilians. Seems to be the thing. It's not attack. It's just not attacking the SCVs. Yeah.
But the SCVs are attacking, right? Am I
Yeah,
seeing
they're
this right?
attacking
Okay.
them. Yeah. So, but it's just like refusing.
Okay, I did get the siege tank, which is a big deal.
Yeah, it's really insistent. But this is the problem.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
fact that
like-
it doesn't kill the SCV means he gets the constant cancels on that.
Yeah. 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 So yeah, we'll see. But he's
Yeah,
just
not enough money for anything, unfortunately.
So the only thing I can determine at this point, since he's only attacking military things, I think this is an attempted conquest. He's trying. He's trying to recruit the SCVs to his side. Yeah, this is
DominionDog
just
spending
weird.
all of his
Just
money on a
weird.
depot, which
Yeah,
is funny.
it's just weird.
Like he's never gonna get any money because he's spending it all on
Yeah.
the barracks,
Yeah.
on the gate, on the depot.
It's just not attacking. Okay.
Yeah,
All
okay,
right,
decided to
there we
attack
go.
at some point.
Finally. All right, there we go. Tier with the win, but didn't make it easy on himself.
No.
Just no casualties. Yeah.
I mean, I can see where prioritizing SCVs last out of like all the targets you can shoot is one thing,
Right. It makes sense.
but not
But
shoot
when-
nothing at all instead
Yeah.
of the SCVs.
Yeah, when there are no other targets, then you gotta take them out, man. Yeah. So if for some reason killing the starport was the trigger to go do it, so I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe.
he's like saving the cooldown in case a unit pops out. Almost.
Yeah, yeah, basically. Yeah, kind of strange. So yeah, will we get a repeat of that sort of thing? It certainly looked effective. Dominion Dogs respond, like kind of semi-responded to it, like you said, cancel the command center, but then didn't really have anything to do with that. And
Yeah.
like the instinct to wall off and stuff, I guess it was fine. And the way that Tyr was acting made it better because he wouldn't leave it, but it ended. It's not really a solution. Like a bunker or something would make more sense, or
Yeah,
yeah,
if you're just
no.
if you're just gonna have like 500 minerals in the bank,
Yeah.
why cancel the command center, right?
Yeah, that's
Leave
why-
it there as a
yeah.
distraction if
Yeah,
nothing else.
yeah, let it stall them.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are ready for game number 2. Let's hop into Abyssal Reef.
DominionDog.
So it looks like it could be more of the same. That's SCV coming up before the depots even started.
Yeah, I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Could be the thinking.
Where is he building it?
Yep.
That could be in vision though. So SCV crosses the map, immediately sees it. So if nothing else, he'll probably cancel the command center sooner. And maybe he'll even have a response. Maybe he'll send the Reaper out there to deal with the SCVs or something. Oh
Yeah.
no, that's a lot of workers not mining for Dominion
Oh,
Dog.
yeah. I think we saw this in week 1. Let's just pointed out that on some maps it doesn't.
Yeah, the
It
speed
doesn't
mining just
mind.
a little bust
Yeah,
on that
yeah,
now.
it's that same little corner that you get. Yeah, it's not working.
It is difficult to write that. It's not built into the framework with Java. I remember doing it myself. I had to like, I have classes for like rectangles and hexagons just to like represent these structures.
Yeah.
Even like the not real hexagon that
Yeah.
the command center is.
Makes sense. Yeah,
So-
this did happen. Week
Yeah, you
1,
get some
and-
like layout like this. It's not, it's a non-standard mineral layout. Then
Yeah.
that's too bad. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's super broke right now. How
Yeah.
many workers are actually mining? Like 8, 9 on workers on minerals. I don't think we can count
Yeah.
any on those 2 patches there.
Yeah. No, yeah, I think if you take the 3 that are on gas, and yeah, on average 8.
Oh well.
Yeah, happens.
R.I.P.
So this
Dominion Dog.
could be quick. But yeah, at least like you said, he hasn't tried to expand this time yet. But yeah, you need income, comparable income. You can see the difference there in the numbers of an average of like high 7, low 800 compared to 1100.
Tyr is always an active author though, and I think Dominion Dog has taken a break again. So Dominion Dog is one of the few authors who like fully left the scene and then came back and actually improved his bot. So
Yeah.
maybe we'll see that again in the future. He'll come back version 3 of Dominion Dog.
Quite possible. SCV's down for the repair. We still get the same sort of behavior.
Let's see. Well, at least he doesn't have the money to waste it all on depots again. He can't afford to make a million depots. He can only afford to make like 10.
Yeah,
There you
he's
go. Now you got the money.
Gonna try. Gonna try.
So basically, all you need is enough SCVs to repair, and Tyr's dead.
Yeah.
Because he has
Yeah,
no
I
way to break the
won't attack them. Yeah, exactly.
He'll only attack the wall.
Yeah, and here the same thing. Like he's in the mineral line as if he wants to do something, but they're rarely shooting. Like
Yeah.
the odd one is shooting. But the SCVs are not really attacking back anymore this time.
No.
Well, those ones still think they're mining, even though they're not.
They're still trying to mine their first 5 minerals, all 12
Yeah.
of those SCVs.
Yeah.
Oh, draw?
Maybe if there's no backup to this.
I mean, there probably is no stage 2. Did Tyr think of the flying structures?
You got to have a stage 2.
I mean, he did expand behind it, so
Yeah. I guess we do. We may face our knockout rules again of there's,
actually Tyr's busted, like straight up busted.
yeah.
He's
Oh,
seeing a
they're both
93
inactive.
supply of 110. He's
Yeah.
floating 6,000 minerals.
It's doing something.
He's
But
mining.
yeah, well, yeah, I guess that's what it is. We do have a rule in this. If a bot, even if it's technically alive, if it doesn't do an action in a certain amount of time, like if nothing is productive is happening, and DominionDog right now has no APM, then there is kind of I think it's a 5-minute knockout timer. So we may end up hitting that if Tyr doesn't do anything.
Yeah, and once Tyr mines out his natural, it will do the in-game draw timer.
Yeah.
Unless he starts distance
Well,
mining or something.
it might. Yeah, it might.
I actually started. I think I might purposely start floating structures with my bot. I've noticed
Yeah.
when I do a BC rush, it so often ends up in a base trade that I lose all my structures and lose the game.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, maybe I should just start lift off my structures.
Preemptively. Yeah.
Well, during the base trade, either float them to the corner or float them to always float them towards my battle cruisers or something. Because sometimes I'm like winning like hard.
Yeah.
But I just lose the trade. Okay, so he's still mining gas.
Yeah, that'll be a little while. But yeah, no long distance mining. So this will eventually hit the draw timer.
It is funny how this build had like a stage 2 to expand, but
Yeah.
it didn't have a stage 2 to do anything beyond expanding. So it
He
sounds
did
like we're going to call the game.
Yeah, he did add a
Because-
gas. So
He was actually adding structures, I think. Oh, well.
yeah, it looked like he was. Yeah, so I think he did.
Maybe he would
trigger
eventually win.
something. Yeah.
Either
But,
way, DominionDog lost, for sure.
Yeah, well, I think literally would have lost. I think if we watched it out the whole way, but also we do have that rule that basically is considered a knockout. So it's a TKO that you're not moving. So yeah.
Way back in the day when they first came out with this bot thing, like if you just left your spawn position, no bot would kill you.
Yes.
It's like bots
yeah.
are so basic back then. They just like kind of a move towards the enemy spawn. That's all they could do.
Yeah, we definitely had several of those early ones where people like Reaper rushed, and then you just get this pile of Reapers
Sitting on the
dancing at
spawn point.
spawn, and
And there's like one
there's
depot just like a
barracks
few
right over
notches
there.
away, and you can't
Yeah.
get to it.
yeah,
That's funny.
yeah. There's a few times that you literally had to wait until the diameter of that circle got big enough that they saw it, and would attack it automatically. But yeah, that's that happened. So we are going to a short break, then coming back with the next two losers matches. So stay tuned. We'll be back in about 5 minutes. Hello. Welcome back to week number 3. We are at match number 3 of the losers bracket here. We're going to be looking at Aeolus versus PhantomBot. Let's look at the bracket for this to see how we got here. And while we're pulling that up, reminder to like and subscribe. And of course, if you want to partake in such bodiness, there is a template listed below, as well as a description of a guide video, basically that's going to help you get started on your bot journey. Makes it really, really easy. You can get up to literally your first working bot within like an hour. So check those out in the description below. So we saw Changeling, which is the amalgamation of Eris, Phobos, and Deimos in one random bot, taking out Aeolus 2-0 in the first week or second week, dropping Aeolus down to the losers bracket, and also BenBot taking out PhantomBot with a 2-0 as well, leading to our current match. And on the other side, we have -0 handily taking out TheBigBot, and Ketrock taking out GPT and knocking them down for what will be our last match of the night, TheBigBot versus GPT, two new ones. Aeolus, also a new bot, but PhantomBot has been in the tournament before and has had some decent success in the past, so this will be an interesting test. Everyone is vacuuming. I don't know.
That's on my end.
Yeah. So whatever. We're just trying to have a clean stage for
There you
everyone.
go.
are on to do stuff on. So yeah, there we go. So yeah, Aeolus making its tournament debut in this as a Protoss bot. Looked pretty decent, I think, in the first or second week, I guess it was, but in the first matchup. But just kind of running into a very well-established, long-term, high-ranking bot. So hoping to see something better this time around. And PhantomBot's been fairly decent there as well. So I don't know if we've got the stats tab up, as I think Ketrog is muting to avoid being sucked into a black hole.
No, this will be a good match. Aeolus actually looked really impressive to me in the first week. So, and then Phantom's the more veteran bot, so that'll be. I think it'll be a good match.
I bet we could get a nice like clip or viral clip going if you turned around and were like, "Mom, I'm casting robots." Stop it. So we've got.
I think I get slapped if I said that.
So here we got Aeolus, a Protoss bot coded in C++. Aeolus is a bot focused on establishing a strong economy and primarily building stalkers to overwhelm its opponent. Good choice. Stalkers, great. It mixes in some immortals too. We saw in the last matchup. Aeolus lacks detection. This is a bit strange. Lacks detection, highly vulnerable to Dark Templar, Banshee, and Burrow Roaches. However, we have seen it make cannon, so at least it has some detection kind of by accident. It also struggles against massed units that trade efficiently into stalkers, such as tanks or zerglings. We've seen that happen, unfortunately, and often losing its army and getting overwhelmed in those cases. Special, no hard-coded logic at all. All building placements are computed at runtime, and it actually does a really good job of walling off. Consistently walls off with the main and natural chokes perfectly with precise calculations. In-game decisions are powered by a newly implemented combat sim, the same one used by the renowned Micro Machine. And yes, this is in C++ as well. And I'm proud to share that Aeolus is the fastest bot in the tournament, averaging a step time of approximately 1 millisecond. The speed is largely thanks to using k-dimensional trees to find nearby units in the grid, avoiding slower loop checks. If you want to know what a k-dimensional tree is, go to a park. Those are 3-dimensional trees. Carve a K into the side of it, and it's approximately that. PhantomBot here. Prayed to survive the early game and then lay siege, swarming them with a large Zerg army. This could certainly be harmful to a stalker bot if there's a lot of lings in that. Weakness to early rushes, tanks, colossi, and anything that micros a lot. Blink stalkers do tend to micro a lot. Uses linear programming to assign targets for harvesters, combat units, and many other tasks. Only a reward function needs to be defined. After that, such assignment problems can be solved efficiently by Skippy or SciPy. But maybe Skippy? We don't know. We don't know. Yeah, random word of the day, Discordianism. This was the word of last week, too. A belief system based around Eris, the Greek goddess of strife, reactive Zerg macro play, and the AI Arena Discord. So yes, excellent Greek history there. Will definitely come into play.
That's why we need more author updates during the tournament, specifically for word of the day.
Yes, we do. Yeah, that should be just pre-programmed in like a calendar sort of thing. So yeah, we're going to be starting on Thunderbird again. We've had this map first a lot, and I actually think Aeolus is one of the ones that kind of this messed with. It caused splitting up of the stalkers around the pathing here, so don't know if we'll get that again. And then followed by Acropolis and Abyssal Reach, which are generally fine.
Yeah. There are quite a few maps that if you go one direction across the map or the other direction across the map, they take a different path.
Yeah.
So there's often like a blocker in the middle.
Yeah.
Of some sort.
Yes, such things can occur. And I always kind of wonder, is it that there's a difference between two of, I'm spawning a unit and I want it to go here versus I'm spawning a unit and I want it to go to the bulk of the army. And as that moves, it can change the direction that you're actually taking to. So, yeah. So,
Yeah, I mean, this will be a good match. I look forward to seeing Aeolus's micro again. I liked his kind of unique ability to regenerate shields
Yeah.
mid-fight by keeping certain units back to only deal with Zerglings and never in range of the queens. So
Yeah.
could see a similar dynamic here as he's facing another Zerg, but not quite as deadly of one. PhantomBot is more the veteran though than Aeolus, so he
Yeah.
probably has less gaps in his game. We'll say,
Yeah.
like he can detect units, for instance.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so we'll see how this goes. If Burrow comes into play, things like that. Let's hop into game number 1.
Aeolus. PhantomBot.
Okay, so there's that calculated choke point out of Aeolus once again. I think we saw this build on this map, if I recall.
Yeah,
right
I
from
think it
last week,
was.
so
Yeah,
this will be the Forge Fast Expand, but without the Fast Expand. Just
yeah.
Forge fast,
Forge gateway,
then
2
expand.
cannons. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I do like at least he's not taking any gas, so at least the income is correct to get all these structures down.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll see bots just love to take gas as soon as they can take gas and stockpile 500 gas for no reason.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, PhantomBot looking fairly normal here. I don't know if anything's going to challenge that wall super early. But once
Yeah, actually going
PhantomBot
for a
does
fast
attack,
third.
it attacks. Yeah.
So maybe a little bit of the blind counter here, going straight into a fast third base
Yeah.
when you know your opponent's perhaps going for a Forge Expand. Although you probably don't know that against Aeolus, as we have seen Aeolus.
Yeah.
Well, he did expand in game 2 as well, didn't he? Yeah. So he's never one base all inning, at least not that we've seen.
Yeah, getting that up and going as chronoed at the Zealot to sit in the wall.
Very nice.
So
I do like that the Forge is a little more exposed than the other structures. I mean,
yeah,
you probably don't want any structure exposed, but if you're going to expose one at the highest hit
that's
points.
the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But I guess as a straight line, you reduce the surface area, so maybe
Yeah.
I don't like it quite so much.
Also, yeah, particularly if you're concerned about roaches at all, having this sticking out, they'd be outside of the range of the cannons trying to guard anything. Like that's way too far, so it's not as helpful. He does this too, where I think we saw this before. Chases the lings out, kind of just abandons their guard the wall duties, and I think he's maybe bitten off more than he can chew out here.
Yeah. Splitting up the attacks a little bit, unfortunately, which means, well, even one Zergling go down, I'm not sure. Looks like the answer is no, none will go down.
Yeah. It's getting close enough to taunt him here. But, yeah. Cannon not in range, but that's what's keeping him away. And the Twilight and Roach Warren. Second
Yeah.
Roach Warren. Was it him we saw do this before? The double Roach
I think so.
Warren?
We saw it last week. There's no way it was Changeling, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it had
yeah,
to be
yeah,
PhantomBot.
yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Let's actually see if he does do double upgrades. I actually don't even know if there are 2 Roach upgrades or not, or whether I'm making that up. But
Yeah, because the burrow's not actually on the building. The burrow's on the lair. The speed is on the
yeah, the burrow movement is on the layer.
tunneling
Yeah.
clause is but is there a second one? Yeah,
There comes the layer.
yeah, speed. Yeah. Oh right, yeah, normal speed. So we'll see if he gets both, or if that's just The fact that they're both built at like the exact same time makes me think that it may just be a unintended.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
But despite that, really nice build of PhantomBot so far. Really got that drone count pumping, which is what you want when you're going for that quick 3 base build. He's able to do so without any punishment, which means he's setting up for a really strong mid game, and that's when you want to be strong with Aeolus, as these stalkers are already starting to cross the map. Blink is about 90% done. Zerglings are very hesitant though, so they're dying and not doing much, which is not great.
Yeah, the fact that they don't pull enough out of range, means that they get cleaned up. There's a Ravager.
And actually, it's PhantomBot trying to be aggressive, so both bots trying to kill each other.
Yeah, Ravager tried to shoot itself.
Almost got it.
Yeah.
Almost successful.
Yeah. Blink of 3 feet
Yeah.
in front of himself.
You know what else you can do to move that far? Just step.
Yeah.
Stalker is really
Yeah.
moving forward for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah. Yeah, and the Ravager at the gate here now is kind of the perfect thing you want. The cannons are set back really far. You could get even at the pylon controlling everything without getting in range, if you can get established there.
Yeah, Zerglings did take a lot of hits to the cannons though, so the
Yeah.
Zergling force is kind of gone. The Ravager, I think, survived. Queens are getting picked away at by these stalkers. They're definitely going to be on lower energy for the next fight. Zergling's still having a good time versus the stalkers in the middle of the map though, so that's still going well for PhantomBot. At least when he has the numbers. When he doesn't have the numbers, he does take a lot of extra damage on them.
Yeah. Yeah, and creep itself moving across nicely, and the economy getting going. There is a third base added for Aeolus too, though. If
Yeah,
he can
not getting much
support
opportunity to use that regen on his stalkers either. Every once in a while, I'll see some stalkers just hanging outside of creep,
Yeah.
just waiting for shields. But for the most part, when PhantomBot attacks, he finishes. Like there was a stalker right there, just waiting for energy a second ago. Oh, shields, energy, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
No Ravager Vial dodging built into the spot.
Yeah, that maybe makes some sense. That is a bit tougher to do.
The toughest part about that is we don't have any information about the bile itself, but we do have information about the dot on the ground it makes.
Yeah.
And the problem is that dot goes away before it lands. So you move out of the way of like where it's going to land, and then right before it lands, everything moves back in.
Yeah.
So you got to create your own code your own delay into the bot. Say, hey, remember where the dot was? Don't step there for a few more seconds.
Makes sense. Decent number of stalkers now grouping up together in one batch. This can be scary. There's a big economy on the Zerg side, though, and of course it's going to be creep all the way. But the hesitance to engage with the lings, which, I mean, makes some sense, but then run them back. Stop running them where they're still being shot constantly.
Yeah, especially as about half the queens have gone down. The stalkers are a little more spread out now, so they're a little bit more vulnerable to lings, but... And there's actually still a good amount of queens. I've seen like 2 or 3 queens die, but there's still like 8 or 9 of them, I think.
Yeah, controlling this middle part still, and one part of this army is kind of moving with purpose a little bit, but the rest of it is really all over the place. But this big chunk getting in here on the overlords is good, creating a pretty big supply block right now.
Yeah, that's a pretty big deal, actually, at the point in the game where you really want to be converting that economy into units. I just can't believe how many queens there are.
Yeah.
Like, all I see is queens dying, and yet there's always, like, at least
there's
10
more.
queens. Now there's hydras as well. That's going to work really well against the stalkers. So, much like Changeling, I love the composition of Ling Queen, then you just transition into Ling Hydra, because that's really what does well against the stalkers, but there's a lot of stalkers, man.
Yeah.
It's a lot of stalkers.
Yeah, it seems to be working. This base is going to fall. The supply is dropping. Unfortunately, it's always bad when your supply block gets solved by the death of the units taking up the supply. That's not the ideal solution. They're coming in now, and yeah, it's hard to see what's going to turn this around.
Another thing that Changeling did very well that we're not seeing a PhantomBot is the ability to block the third base of Aeolus. So Aeolus is able to establish a third, and so his economy is even stronger now.
Exactly, yeah. We saw an attempted thing against Changeling where at one point Aeolus added on like 4 gateways, but just didn't have the economy to sustain it. In this case, not the case. So, yeah, we get these stalker numbers.
On a different map, though, we might block the third with a creep, because the creep spread was tremendous
really
out of PhantomBot. Just the only place it didn't spread creep to was the base that Aeolus expanded to.
Yeah, 14 queens will do that.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess. So yeah, pretty good. Took a little bit to get going. It looked like it wasn't necessarily going to go his way with the Lings kind of taking out all the early stalkers, but it was enough that, again, just kind of keep the feet moving and you get going. And even though PhantomBot did get to what was theoretically going to be a really big economy, it never actually kicked in the same way. It didn't get everything out in time.
Might have even been that supply block too. Like that is where
I think it was
Aeolus
like
really took over. It was at that point.
Yeah,
if he kept flooding Lings to that moment, it would have still stayed kind of evenish.
Yeah, if you had Lings in front of the Hydras, that's the thing you're trying to do. But that was exactly when it happened. So yeah, a bit of trouble there. So yeah, Acropolis next. Yeah, I'm not sure I anticipate any particular problems with this. I think just by its nature, Aeolus gets spread out and things don't clump up, but it was able to keep one main clump, which is about half its army, and the rest was kind of strewn all over the place. So we'll see.
It's a much more wide open map as well. So sometimes we'll see like a bunch of stalkers kind of in a choked up position, and that's great because there's no links around. But this map is like the whole center of the map just feels like a big wide open space. Yeah. So which could be good news for PhantomBot.
Yes, indeed. And will he take a different strategy or anything? Let's find out in game number 2.
Aeolus. PhantomBot.
Okay, so far looking similar. Not sure how this wall-off's going to work, but interesting start to it.
Yeah, that is. This last time against Changeling, while he opened with the Forge on this, I think it was this map, did do the expansion first instead of the Gateway Cannon thing. So I don't know if there's a different read here or whether it'll be that. We're going up a lot in minerals, so...
I think because he lost to Changeling, he switched up the build.
Switch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that may be the case. So yeah, there's Gate Cannon, other cannon.
Yeah, actually the wall does make sense now I'm looking at it. Just the Forge is a little more exposed than normal, but that's fine.
Seems to like that.
Yeah. 2 cannons are actually touching too, which means they can eat the same biles, depending on... I wonder if bots are actually...
Yeah, I know that.
Smart about clicking, like, biling the edge of structures. So you can hit 2 structures at once. Or probably just taking the center mass. It's typically the way they do it.
Yeah, likely. I mean, I guess you can... I assume you can code it how you like, but it's whether people have thought of putting that in. I mean, there must be cases where you're doing it for range, right? That you can't get this close, so you need to do the front edge of it.
Yeah. There was I think every once in a blue moon we've had bots that just blindly shoot at the middle of their expansion position to kill like a burrowed Zergling that might be there.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
I always wonder like if any bot's going to start like offsetting the Zergling a little bit when they block bases. There's one bot that they use like 2 Hellions that shot each other. And then
Oh,
they
yeah.
kill us. And then I assume with Ravagers, you can always just bile the center of your expansions to clear it.
Zealot in position, but the last Zealot did not stay in position. He went on a hunt, and yeah, we're going to get that. At least only one of them this time. Last time both went out, but it didn't end well.
This time he got off some free
Yeah.
shots though, so
Yeah. Okay, is he getting close enough? No.
it's at least
Yeah,
one
okay,
kill?
gets one.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And does he go into a choke point?
Yeah, he might.
No, it's too late
No
anyways.
deal. Yeah.
One's better than 0.
Yeah.
We'll take it.
I mean, 0 and you stayed in the wall would have been better. But yeah. Lings here. And again, they don't, know this. The cannons being back are still close enough. Okay, they keep doing this. That they didn't initially. I don't know what makes them do it when the 5th guy came. But, all right, they found a good
Could just
spot.
be the colliding with your own units as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
The ones in the back really want to get forwards, like I got space, and the ones in the front's like,
Yeah.
no, we gotta back up.
Yeah. The Roach Warren coming. Again, it's 2 of them. So I guess that's just the thing. Blink is on the way. And these will slowly whittle themselves down. Although, again, as they hit 4, maybe they're, like you said, no pushing anymore. But Stalker will deal with it.
Yeah, now they can't really see the high ground, so
Yeah.
they may not even know about the stalker threats every second.
Yeah.
He drops down to 1 though. He's like, okay, I'm out of here. I do like the movement on the Zealot, how it keeps the Zealot in the wall, but it's able to be pushed out of the way by other units.
Yeah.
Okay, good start out of Aeolus, but we've seen this before where this is not his finest time in the game when you got 3 or 4 stalkers trying to engage many Zerglings. But so far so good. The Zergling count has not gotten to the point where it's surrounding him yet. And I wasn't watching too closely on PhantomBot's side, but seeing as he has 3 saturated bases, I'm guessing he did the same opener. So he's got a nice economic
Yeah, it
lead
looked
to
pretty
start.
similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Picking off a couple stalkers there. Very nice. Create spread's looking beautiful as normal. Ravager's trying to bile himself as normal.
Yes, you gotta just shoot it up, walk straight into it, and you're cool. It almost times out perfectly, to be honest. Those guys just wandering off.
One thing Ravagers could definitely do versus human opponents would be like to like bio like medevacs and stuff.
Yeah,
Because you can definitely calculate it if a unit stays in the same direction where it's going to be.
yeah, you just pick it off. Yeah, pretty much.
Micro Machine does that with his Reaper grenades. That's why sometimes the grenade looks insane against
Yeah.
other bots, because bots wiggle a lot, and then he throws a grenade somewhere crazy.
Yeah,
But again, if it's a human player and the player is just moving the unit in one direction, those
Yeah.
grenades will always land perfectly.
so stalkers.
Yeah, count's getting pretty large. He is kind of surrounded by queens right now, which
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's good or bad for him.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he's not finishing them off. Is the thing? Yeah,
He like uses up all their energy, gets them into the red, and then
Yeah.
they survive somehow.
yeah, yeah.
Something will come to distract. I mean, you should be focusing Zerglings over queens
Yeah.
for the most part, but yeah, when you got the queen in the red, just finish it off, man. Stalkers getting pushed back on the north, but there's stalkers in other areas that are even picking off observers, so... Or sorry, overlords.
Yeah, and this again has created a bit of a supply block just at the time that he's going to want to start making the Hydras. and then be able to replace Ling. So that is a concern. He gets out of it here, but that's definitely not what you want to be spending on.
Yeah. Might have gotten out of it just from losing Zerglings as well.
Yeah, exactly. Looks like he's built a lot more to compensate. He's up to 166 supply now. Or like supply capacity, I mean. And again, we've just got skirmishes everywhere. The
Yeah.
flashing spots all over the map, so nothing's really super grouping up, but it does feel like this is kind of the portion of it that is potentially
Yeah.
due
It feels
for a
better
breakthrough.
for Aeolus this game
Yeah.
almost. Like none of these I remember seeing like a lot of stalkers going down last game, and I'm not
Yeah.
seeing it so much
Yeah.
this time. Even though he's all spread out,
Yeah.
it just the spreads seem okay. Like the numbers always seem
Yeah.
okay in each area he's at.
Yeah,
Like he may not get like all those overlord kills like he did last time, but
yeah,
I don't think it matters. Just things are going so well for him. 17 stalkers have fallen, but
yeah. A lot of that.
yeah, maybe we're
was
just not seeing
earlier.
it.
Yeah, I think it's very much on the fringes. Like there was a top middle fight and things like that. But yeah, I think now that you've got a little bit of a group,
Yeah.
when you're getting like a dozen in one spot, it starts to become tough.
And he has the third base. He shut down all the economies.
Yeah.
The stalker count is huge. Like
Yeah.
this game is well over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew Aeolus, he had some fight in him. Like he looked really good
Yeah.
against Changeling. It was just he basically fought Eris twice in a row.
Yeah.
Which wasn't, no one's gonna win that.
Yeah,
but
for
there's
sure.
a lot of things that look really cool about this bot, and I'm glad that he's gonna get a little bit more life. Well done. Well done, my PhantomBot,
Indeed.
though. Yes, he did at least paint the map purple twice in a row. That's really nice.
Yeah. Yeah, impressive with that. Queens everywhere, getting it done. So yeah, Aeolus will continue on to the constellation. PhantomBot, unfortunately, out for this season. I'm sure we'll see him again in the future. Just a few things to, polish up there, I guess. And one of them is probably just the ranging. It allowed so many lings to die to whether it was cannons or whether it was staying on the edge of the range of stalkers when it could have just moved away and preserved those units for a bigger swarm later on.
Yeah.
So, but Aeolus will live, and we are on to match number 4, our last of the day. And
Who do we got for this
Yeah,
one? We got
BigBot. Two new
BigBot
ones
versus
Yeah.
GPT.
Yeah.
Okay, two bots that had like really powerful one base all in, so that'll be
Yeah.
interesting if those collide. Although we did see a macro build out of GPT as well.
Yes.
So
Yeah, indeed. So both new to our scene, at least. Here, TheBigBot is a Protoss, also in C++. And GPT, a C# one, which is a Terran. And yeah, both of them do kind of mention all in, all day. Can't let those old bots get to the late game. Unfortunately, you're playing a new one, so we'll see. See how that goes. Weakness, random bots and defending. So may come into play. Special tracks enemy movement to predict attacks and disjoint projectiles with warp prisms. We saw a good bit of that. Blink micro army formations to create nice concaves and keep units from getting separated and picked off one by one. So blinking in formation, I guess. And then once again, / GPT goes for timing based attacks focused around upgrades. So we saw like a pretty sharp marine attack with combat shields coming out in one match. And then the next match it was going for a stim attack, but just kind of ran into tough opposition. Cheese in the late game is a weakness because I'm developing my own framework. It's missing a lot of general logic to deal with cheese, and it isn't developed enough to deal with the late game. Still in progress, trying to hit a timing. If that doesn't work, it won't work. I'm proud of GPT's performance. On average, all its calculations take 1 to 3 milliseconds per step update on the ladder. On my own PC, it can win a 15-minute match with only 25 seconds of total computing time. All of this while processing the entire map and game state each match, and there's no hard-coded map data. and
Very cool.
also a forward slash.
Yeah, especially when you want to play real time against humans, the how fast you process each frame becomes really important.
Yeah.
Because when bots play bots, they just kind of wait for both bots to finish each game frame, and then they move on to the next one.
Right.
And you're playing human, everything's in real time, and you got
Yeah.
whatever
Makes,
1/24, 1/22 of a second to do each for game frame, which is a lot of time for a bot, but not an infinite amount of time.
Yeah, definitely makes sense. You got to submit your turn or whatever. It's weird that that's the case. It almost turns it into a turn-based RPG.
In a way, yeah.
Like this, that's a
Both
game.
take a turn at the same time.
Yeah,
I guess.
we call it an RTS. It's playing Final Fantasy Tactics, something like that. We're on Automaton to begin things, Abyssal Reef, and then ending off with Thunderbird if necessary. And I expect these to be relatively quick ones one way or the other, as both bots are trying to hit that timing and not potentially go into a late game, but we may see something akin to a base trade. We may just see one of them hits earlier than the other consistently. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably going to favor GPT if I had to guess, because the Marines are pretty good against Stalkers and Immortals. I'm trying to remember if Combat Shield is important in that mix or not, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But the Proxy Immortal is strong though, especially if he keeps him alive. And Stalkers and Mortals have the ability to kite backwards very well against Marines. So,
and at least if it's similar to what he was doing in the PvP, he's not waiting for it's like 2 Stalkers, 1 Immortal, go.
Yeah,
like that's what he's doing. So it's a very quick thing. If you get up there and there's like maybe 3 Marines or like 1 Reaper and 2 Marines, like that's not going to be great there.
Yeah, Stalkers against Marines, like unupgraded Marines, is just so strong at the start of the game. I feel like that's why the Cyclone was so hated right off the start, because all of a sudden Protoss got from like, this is the time of the game where I get free kills to, oh, this is the time of the game where Terran gets free kills now. I gotta sit back in my ramp. This sucks.
Yeah, for sure. So we are ready for game number 1. Let's hop in.
BigBot. GPT.
I like that position of the pylon actually on this map, because
Yeah,
it blocks the Reaper jump, but also if you're going to be aggressive, once warp gate's done, you can start warping on the low ground there.
yeah.
Save yourself, 10 seconds of having to leave your base.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense.
And yeah, it looks like we're seeing the one base build out of GPT.
Yeah.
So, I can't remember what it was. It was like +1 with combat shield and then go. I think was the idea.
That seemed to be it. And it got a pretty decent amount of bio out when it did it. It was just kind of ran into trouble.
Yeah, which was a big Idix cannon on the Planetary Fortress, if I remember right.
Yes, exactly. Exactly, the main kind of trouble. Scout coming off here. We'll kind of know what's out. I'm not seeing though. So this may not be then this proxy robo sort of thing. Of course, we never saw it against the Terran yet, so that may not make sense for getting the expansion here. So then the real question, I think this immediately passes the initiative to GPT. That his attack is going to be the one that ends up hitting first.
And I do like that for BigBot. The more I'm thinking about these two armies colliding, the more I thought it would favor the GPT, especially if he's taking the fight at his ramp.
Yeah.
This gives some more opportunities for BigBot. He'll have a larger economy. If he's coated in shield battery overcharge, that'll be a gigantic deal as well.
Yeah. And an adept there. Adept's pretty good. And also adding on a Twilight.
Yeah. I mean, we never see it anymore, but Glaive's Adepts are
Yeah.
tremendously good against Marines. So
Yeah. Yep. So it could easily play into his hand if that's the way we're going.
I think we don't see it because Protoss, if you go even higher up the tech tree, they have things that are even better against Marines
Yeah.
in the form of like many options of splash damage. Colossi and Disruptors and Storm. Robo with the Twilight. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, that is maybe
We got
for
a
like
gas
a prism.
altogether as well.
Okay, good. Zealot charge.
Ah.
That's also good against. See, everything is good against Marines, basically.
Zealots are kind of bad versus everything, and then but Zealot charge makes
Yes,
them
makes them
good enough versus everything.
Yeah, yeah. Exactly. It turns them from a melee unit to a melee unit with like rockets on your roller skates.
Yeah.
It's fine.
And if you're not a Protoss player, I highly suggest Zealot Archon. It works versus all three races.
Mm-hmm.
It's really easy to spend your money because if you have extra gas, just build more Templar. If you have extra minerals, build more Zealots. And you A-move with it. You know, you don't have to do any like blink micro or any nonsense like that. You know.
Yeah, I thought
So
this
it's-
might be the case. So Robo for the Warp Prism. So that may be the forward warp in plan.
So you will have charge done.
Yeah.
What I'm not seeing on the production tab is Zealots. So
But we did see in the
We did a lot
production
of
tab like
gateways,
many gateways. Yeah, so we can create zealots. Where will they be at the time is more the thing. You don't want these four to meet them out in the middle of nowhere,
no.
but yeah,
And there's no battery, so
No.
Yeesh, this could be tough. I mean, there's guaranteed damage with Zealots, which is nice, I guess. So he does take out 2 Marines for 4 Zealots, which is honestly better than I thought would happen in that fight.
and this is more the sight blocker and the ramp were
Sight blocker
interesting.
helps a little.
Yeah. The question will be, can he go back on the defensive? Because one, this is not great, but he doesn't care apparently. But that would have been a problem.
Ooh, Geshen
Yeah.
warping in.
Yeah.
That's a big deal as well.
Okay.
Although he might have enough to cause trouble here. After
Yeah,
that
I
initial
think he
charge,
does,
though, it's hard
yeah.
to do well, especially with the kiting of the
Yeah.
Terran.
Yeah. But I think he's just disruptive everything enough that like there's no mass to this push again. Okay. Yeah, good thing he killed that because that's the impression I got when he when he unclosed that and went. I'm like, he doesn't care. He's just going into the main base.
The problem is there's no more army. Like every time he
Yeah.
loses Zealots, that's his
Yeah,
entire
that's
army
it.
dead.
That's that's
So-
all.
But yeah, I mean, the fights are going well for GPT, but it's 2 base on 1. So I mean,
Yeah.
he needs to get out on the map again and start doing something. Because
I think-
long term, this is not going to be great for him.
Yeah, last time he massed up to a similar amount again and then made the second push. If BenBot or BigBot had set back, then you'd hit this wall of like 18 zealots, and that's that. But if he keeps sending 6 across to die, then that's less ideal.
Yeah. Okay. So take the fight here with the choke point.
Yeah. Like that's gonna be two,
Yeah,
two
with the
maybe
wall.
3 Marines. I think there's 1 Marine. Yeah.
Now I wish he'd rally everything else because he kind of has to
Yeah.
win on this fight. I think.
Yeah.
You know, that's 16 mineral patches fighting.
But I
And we're
think
speeding
he,
up for some
I think
reason,
he
don't know
might. Well, we stopped making zealots apparently.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
4,000 minerals in the bank.
Yeah.
I missed that,
That's it.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah,
I
it-
thought I was just getting to the point where BigBot had it wrapped up too.
Yeah. I mean, this is all the equipment, things, economy, gateways required to wrap that up.
Yeah.
Like there again, there's no reason that army shouldn't showed up and there were 24 plus zealots waiting for it.
Yeah.
But that's not what happened.
And if he fought those zealots like 6 at a time or whatever,
Yeah.
like as long as you dwindle down the army, I think there's not going to be another big push out of GPT. He's going to be
Yeah.
down to 4 mineral patches in a second.
Yeah,
And yeah,
exactly.
yeah, too bad. I mean,
So yeah, good.
bad time
good
to break.
Start. Yeah, good start. The right thing to do. It may just have. We've seen definitely bots in the past too that are like, "This is the push. If I don't win at 3, like forget it." Like they're just kind of coded in that way. So I don't know if that's anything, but it may have been It may have been the prism dying.
I feel like you'd have to write extra code just to make your bot stop doing things.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like it's one thing not to expand again and not to add on more
Yeah.
gateways, but it's probably generic code that's just building the zealots and attacking and stuff.
yeah,
Just keep doing those things.
yeah.
Weird.
Interesting.
I
So
think
yeah.
it's probably throwing exceptions. That's my guess.
Yeah. So we are going into Abyssal Reef. Yeah, I do wonder if it was related to the prism death that it needs that alive, although it shouldn't be crazy to anticipate that that will die.
Yeah, and he was warping in afterwards too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know.
Right. So we'll find it on the next map, see if it breaks again, see if we get something different, because of course it lost that one, so may vary up. Let's hop in now and find out.
Bot. GPT.
Okay, so this time, tough to tell. We do have a scout out of BigBot. I'm actually not sure if he's mixing it up or not. I don't think so. I
Yeah.
think this is the same as last time. It's the strategy he was using.
Yeah, starting similar for sure. It may be that he's got kind of one build per race.
Yeah, and I don't mind him reusing that build because honestly, I thought it was going okay.
Yeah, it was fine. Yeah,
And it could have gone better too if he didn't lose the Warp Prism. So
yeah.
and GPT's mixing it up this time. So they're both going to be on 2 base economy, which is going to be interesting. Which means that an initial charge zealot push could be more powerful. So we saw GPT do this last time, and he built a whole bunch of like 2 orbitals, 2 barracks, a factory, a starport. It's a lot of infrastructure cost, which left his armies pretty small.
Yeah.
And I know that initial push out of BigBots wasn't that powerful. It was like a prism and 4 zealots.
Yeah.
But that's the potential to get bigger, especially with the offensive warp ins.
Yeah, it never, like 2 waves of a warp in never coincided. Like everything was the individual wave.
Yeah. You got to fight one wave at a time every time,
Yeah,
that's for
yeah.
sure. And zealots never got to charge twice.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
they charge once and then
Yeah,
they
that's
die.
it.
And then new zealots would have to charge the next time.
Yeah. Yep, so it does look similar. There's the robo again. I guess even with the like 4 zealots going out as the first wave is just a little bit anemic, especially given that your next warp in is 8. Given the way they ramped that up, it might have been nicer to stay until you had 12. To then go. Like, I don't know what the first 4 necessarily are going to do against ranged opponents. Like, it's kind of one of those things where it's exponentially better the more they are.
I'm glad anemic means a bad thing because in my brain I heard bulimic. Like, that's pretty bulimic of him. Like, okay, that's one way of putting it.
Well, bulimia can lead to anemia, I guess. Yeah.
There's all the gateways. I like this build though.
Yeah.
If BigBot came up with this on his own, I like it. Because he even pulls out a gas and everything and gets like the perfect 32 worker economy on 16 patches.
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
and even though it's maybe not the most efficient way to get zealots ramping up, if you want the simplest way to ramp up, you build all the gateways first, and only then do you start spending minerals on zealots. That's kind of actually how Brood War Protosses typically do their thing. They don't add gateways as I need them. They just stop building units and add a bunch of gateways.
Yeah. Let's see. He is coming across. This time potentially even more separated. We get a group of 2 and 2. I don't know if they'll... But there's nothing down here. I mean, they may charge on some SCVs or something.
The GPT does come down the ramp to defend.
Yeah.
That kind of cost him when he was fighting my bots,
Yeah,
but in this case against 2 zealots is probably a good idea.
Yeah.
But
Well,
now 2
that
more
timed out
joins.
perfectly. Yeah. The 4 for 4 trade, and he gets in. He may get more. 5. Yeah, no, that was... I'd call that successful, and then next wave hits.
Yeah, and now he's kind of up 2 base to 1 in terms of economy, as all the SCVs have died at the natural. No cancel on that. Refinery, which honestly may be a good thing for new bots, because new bots don't cancel their structures often, but when they do, they cancel them 50 times in a row.
Yeah. That happens. Where'd that prism sneak? Okay, yeah, there's a big warp in. The tanks luckily did not fire behind them, because that was definitely a possibility.
And that might be it for the SCV count. I didn't really see what going in the main base, but I don't see any SCVs.
No, there's 4 workers left. Yeah.
Yeah, a couple mules. There's still a couple tanks, but tanks are not good versus charge lots. As they do just as much friendly fire as they do normal attacks, and yeah, now his prism's really good doing work.
Yeah.
It's both such a big difference when it doesn't go down. Huh?
Yeah.
Just being annoying.
It's got no survival instinct, but it didn't matter. Like, it does not care that it was warping in right next to, like, a bunch of units, 2 tanks. Didn't care, but it worked.
All right, we got a series.
Yep.
I would feel bad for the BigBot if he ends up losing the series. I kind of like GPT, but it felt like BigBot very well should have been 2-0 right now if he didn't have that
whatever.
blow up whatever his bot was doing in game 1.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I guess the question will GPT. So GPT changed despite winning to another thing. Will it go back? Maybe it's got map dependent strategy, something like that. See what happens here. Thunderbird, again, this little run through the middle may change the direction the first zealots go, etc. Could also affect kind of where the warp prism decides to warp in, because it felt like it was going as the cooldown came off. It was just stopping like wherever it was, warping in there and then continuing. So that could affect it a little bit. We shall see. But yeah, I agree. I think that BigBot has the build to do this. See if GPT can come out with a response.
Yeah. I mean, and there was a night and day difference in game 1 and game 2 with how much bio GPT had at the start. Like, there's a reason that prism went down, is because the bio shredded all the zealots, and then there's only a prism remaining.
All right, we'll hop into the last game of today and see who is dead and who is carrying on.
The Big Bot.
Excited.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
GPT.
That was smoother. Yeah, we apologize on the first intro to viewers with epilepsy.
Maybe that's the word you said. Was it epileptic?
That's a word too, but anemic.
I'll just keep replacing it with other words.
Just other medical conditions people can have. Yeah. Anemia is a lack of iron in the blood that leads to weakness. So yeah,
It's an educational stream.
always we always try and serve our community.
All right, so I don't think we're going to be seeing a change out of
No,
Big
doesn't
Bot,
look
I
like
wouldn't
it.
think.
Yeah, why change? Why
And
change?
we are
If you-
seeing the
yeah,
one
if you
base
did-
build out of GPT once again.
Yeah, back to the default. Yeah, if you didn't change when you lost, why? Or yeah, it didn't change when you lost. Why change when you win? So it's just going to do the same. But GPT goes back. Yeah.
It is important to take out that pro because basically you're mining,
Yeah.
what is it, 60 less minerals a minute by having that SCV doing nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, which does make definitely a difference in this stuff.
It is nice since they got rid of blizzard time. Now it's really easy to calculate mining
Yeah.
rates because it's basically a worker mines 1 mineral a second. So
Yeah. Yeah, I never understood quite why we had that to begin with, but well, I guess I did understand the thinking behind it, but it never made sense. It's the game that people play on is fastest,
yeah,
but
or in this case
normal,
faster, yeah.
faster, yeah. But the normal time is normal, so it just, yeah. It's,
But no one plays on
Whatever.
normal time. I used to play
Yeah.
normal time on Brood War.
Yeah.
I would play the ladder. The ladder was forced on normal time. I remember
was it?
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Koreans are like, screw that. We're playing on fastest.
I see. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why no one played the actual.
Yeah, that
ladder.
was the confusing part because this time the ladder was on faster.
Yeah, on
so,
fast- on
so
faster,
why
so
would the
like-
clock not be set to that? Because then that's not faster. That is normal. Yeah, whatever.
Who knows?
Lots,
It also made
lots of-
APM calculations all weird.
True. True.
All right, charge is on its way. Gateway production is getting up. And we do have that +1 and combat shield on the way. Those are actually a big deal as well because those are missing from the last game. So
Yeah.
it wasn't just less bio, but it was
For
bio
sure.
lacking upgrades.
Yeah.
Especially the +1. I think Zealots already have a base armor of 1, so the +1's actually a really big DPS increase when you're facing high armor units.
Indeed. Unlike Marines do half a point of damage to max armor battle cruisers.
Yeah, even
Yeah.
one less than full armor battle cruisers.
Yeah.
They do
Oh,
half
yeah.
damage.
Yeah.
So that's why every upgrade's so important. Because going from half to 1, that's like
Yeah.
double DPS, right?
Yeah. Right, so we got the, so this time he has held back. So if the 4 of these are grouped up and they're not going right away. Okay, now they are.
Yeah.
Never mind.
I think it waits
here
for the warp
there's-
prison to finish or something.
Yeah, there's a possibility that these pass each other. They're not going to though. Okay.
Yeah, it's that S in the middle you gotta do.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. That
That
was really
looks
bad.
cool. It looked like he swiped the blade and knocked them back. But see, this is it. Now they've passed each other.
Okay. So this looks really good for GPT. 'Cause GPT also doesn't bring his reinforcements to the front line. So I think
Yeah.
he can deal with this on both sides, especially if he raises
Yeah.
the wall,
Yeah.
which he's not able to do. But he is able to fight with his SCVs. And then there's nothing here. More Zealots coming, though.
Yeah, the warping
It
was
could have turned into a
outside,
base
though.
trade. And he opened the door. Did that get to let the Zealots in? No, it didn't.
No.
No, yeah, this is really
Yeah,
bad for
that's
big
bad.
bots.
Yeah. No, there was some chance that that warp prism was going to come into the main and warp into the main, in which case it'd be more trouble. But yeah, no,
He is still mining on one base, though, so he should be able to get another warp in. Nope.
no.
Warping it home.
Outside the home.
Oh, but they're going
yeah,
across the map. Oh.
No defense. No defense.
Yeah. Poor big bot.
Yeah, that's a shame because it is. Yeah, it was close. It's the right stuff required to win.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not the right execution of it. But if he just leaves. Yeah, there we go. So GPT will continue. Yeah, know if he warped in the second one inside, maybe. If he, although he'd still end up in a case where there's nothing to catch a floating building or anything, because he would definitely lose his base, and there was nothing out to then make another building. So trouble. But because yeah, that whole other army that didn't need reinforcement, so it was self-sufficient. But GPT goes on, the big bot going to the scrap heap, but I think a few little tweaks there, and that one could be a lot stronger.
Yep.
So
I like the
we'll
efficiency
see.
of the build. I'll give it that
Yeah,
much.
yeah, yes.
I love how it builds the gateways first and pulls some gas. And it's really nice.
Yeah.
You don't
Quite
see that
good.
much in the bot meta. Efficient builds.
Yeah, indeed.
It's like, I'm going to open Depot Inge Bay Barracks
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I don't know
don't
how
worry
to play
about
this game.
Yeah, yeah. So thanks everyone for joining us. A reminder again to like and subscribe below. And if you want to get involved in trying one of these bots on your own, check the link in the description. There's a template for making one, as well as guides to getting started with it. We'll take one last look at the bracket here today. Changeling, or we were doing the bottom part, I guess, but Aeolus taking out PhantomBot 2-0. So Aeolus will end up playing the loser of Changeling and BenBot BC. And GPT surviving the big bot's Zealot Charge Onslaught. GPT will end up playing the loser of -0 and Ketrock to still try and make it out of the group.
Yeah. So they're both one game away from making quarterfinals on their
Yeah,
first attempt.
indeed.
Pretty cool.
Indeed they are. So yeah,
One
thanks for coming out. Yeah, any thoughts, any parting words of wisdom, maybe the word of the day, something like that.
The Discordianism or something? I can't remember
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah, it was something like that. Yeah, prediction. So are we doing group A and B both next week, or is it all the winners next week? Good question. I stumped him. I stumped him.
We should
All
finish
right.
off a couple groups. I like having
Yeah.
it all together.
Yeah,
I'm going to change the programming right now
Makes
with all
sense.
my powers of
All right. Well, if we assume it's all the winners, so Changeling, I think it will be interesting because we don't know what races it's going to be, but I think that's probably likely to go. And even though Ketrock's right here, maybe -0, but we'll see.
Hey, I have
Yeah.
taken at least one game of our last 50 on ladder.
Okay.
So
That's pretty decent. Pretty decent.
honestly,
Yeah.
compared to other bots on the ladder, that's pretty decent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Taking
Yeah,
one game off that
pretty
box.
pretty good. So yeah, I think it'll be some good matches anyway. It'll be our winners series. Yeah, you'll see some of the better ones there and see who makes it first into our round of 8. And who gets knocked down to the consolation. But I think a lot of the bots in the winners now, I think in a lot of groups, it's just going to be both of those bots. Just one of them's going to have to take a detour before getting back there. So we'll see. But that is all. Thanks everyone for joining. Catch us next week. Same bot time, same bot channel.
Good 60s callback. I love it. All right. See you guys.